My dad is the coolest guy ever. He was the funniest guy ever.
Tyrel, he always wanted everyone to be having a good time and smiling and be happy. That's mostly what I remember of him growing up.
Tyrel was a great, great young man. Do anything for you. He liked to have fun, but at the end of the day, he wanted to make sure everybody else was okay too.
That was just his personality. He was always looking out for the other person, it seemed like.
Tyrel was 17 when he put his hand up to join the National Guard. As the deployment came, he was also the first one to put his hand up there.
When he joined the military, I was concerned. He was so young, but also very proud of him. We've always been very patriotic in our family.
I was sick at heart when he joined the military. You hear of the atrocities of war, and I worried that he wasn't prepared for what he was going into.
He was deployed to Afghanistan.
He told me about when he was a door gunner in a Black Hawk.
When Tyrel got back, he was still that happy-go-lucky person.
He had a son and a wife, and they were good for a while, and he seemed to be doing good.
But at times you could see through that there was frustration or things that he wanted to share but didn't feel like he could share because it would show a sign of weakness.
It was always like he had to be the macho guy.
I could see the worry in my dad's eyes that something wasn't okay.
I tried to get him to talk about it at times. He blamed himself if one of his buddies got hurt or something. And I tried to explain to him that it wasn't his fault. It just wasn't.
It was like he was holding back a piece of himself.
He struggled with anger a lot. It was kind of scary to see.
As the PTSD progressed, he could fly into a rage at the drop of a hat.
There were things going on in his head that he couldn't get rid of.
He knew he had a problem. He did seek counseling. The first few counselors he had, he just couldn't open up to them because they didn't understand the situation he had been in.
He would get into the counseling and just be developing that relationship, and the benefit ran out.
It was so frustrating. There's this man that did so much for our country, and there was nothing for him.
He called his younger brother one night and said he was very close to committing suicide then. He was living in Flagstaff, and we packed up and went down. I started making calls, and I was looking for psychiatrists who specialized in PTSD cases. I was just totally flabbergasted because nobody acted like they was interested. And I told him, I said, this is critical. He's just about committed suicide. He needs counseling now. Well, we're not taking any new clients. I got angry. I stayed with him for 2 weeks that time.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. And we finally got him in touch with counseling. I called him almost every evening, asked him if he had been to her, and he says, yeah. He says, I think we're really going to do some good here.
He was doing a little better. He came to the store and surprised me at work, and he just had that big smile on his face again. Then he went home, and you realized, gosh, he wasn't okay.
My brother just lives up the road from us. Him and a deputy sheriff came in. And, I knew why he was there.
Tyrel took his life.
I'd like to start with a moment of silence for Tyrel Arnell, who himself was a veteran, and to all suicide victims, both veteran and non-veteran.
We started the walk 2 weeks after we buried Tyrel because we felt it was a way to honor his memory and to get the word out.
The warriors that come home with physical disabilities get all kinds of help, but the warriors that come home with the wounds inside,
they're pretty much just left to fight that battle on their own. And we need to change that.
Be the One is a nationwide American Legion project to make people aware of veteran suicides and to try to bring that down. A couple years ago, 22 veterans a day were killing themselves. The awareness programs over the past couple years have got it down to about 19. That's one is too many.
I chose Be the One to be our project this year because my dad had come to the office one day and we were discussing the walk and the funds and where they would go to, and he's like, I just want to see that I'm helping someone. I want to see that my son dying had a purpose. Valley Forge donated a flagpole to be put up at our store in honor of not just Tyrel, but all the veterans that serve our country.
These guys and gals, they live with a lot of things that nobody else understands. We as communities, we as families, businesses, we need to make sacrifices for those who need the help to help them any way we can.
I think today is important because it gives us a chance to reach out with the American Legion's message of Be the One in our communities. The Benedicts and ACE themselves, they have put a lot of time and effort back into the community and money. We're thankful to have them here as partners.
At the end of the day, the walk will be successful if what we do at the walk, what we promote at the walk, what we create at the walk helps one person.
My hope for the future is that this stigma that if you're enlisted in the military, you have to be tough and you can't talk about your mental health problems. I hope that all goes away.
My hope for the future is that veterans that are struggling with mental illness, that they are able to get the help they need and overcome it so other families don't have to go through what we've been through.
I just want to help these guys that are suffering like this, so their families don't have to go through. So they don't have to suffer the loss of a loved one too, because it's hard. And I don't know if that void will ever be filled.
I wish we could have helped him. I wish we could have done something to make his life easier.
Even though he was suffering, I can't even remember the number of people that came to us at his funeral who expressed how he had helped them in their lives, how he had encouraged them through a rough spot, or just been there to put his arms around them. I'd like people to understand that these guys aren't necessarily dangerous to get to know and to be friends with. They are actual loving, living people that are fighting a wound that just isn't visible.